In this video, we'll cover top programming languages to learn for getting a job in the tech industry. My name is Akash, and for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm a software engineer working at Microsoft. If you are new to coding, it can be overwhelming to jump from one programming language to other to explore. And there are countless videos on YouTube that talk about most popular programming language each year. But in this video, I'll talk about the programming language that you should learn based on your career aspiration. So if your goal is to become a web developer, then you should be focusing on tools that will help you become one. And these tools and languages will be significantly different if you are planning to become a machine learning engineer. So without any delay, let's talk about the programming language that you should learn depending on your career goal. Let's start with web development. React, Vue, and Angular are most popular web development framework. And one thing that is common between all three is that they are JavaScript framework. Web development has two main components, front-end and back-end. In simple word, front-end component is anything that user sees or interacts with on a website. For example, if you are using YouTube, then features like clicking on a video, scrolling through shorts, and searching on YouTube are all front-end components. On the other hand, if you're searching for a video on YouTube, then your request will go to backend. Backend will then process the request and return most relevant results to your query. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are core component of front-end web development. HTML and CSS are mainly used to design and style skeleton of a website. For example, if you want to display video thumbnails and titles, you can do it using HTML and CSS. And JavaScript is used to introduce dynamic interactions on website. For example, when you hover on a video, it will show you frames from the video, and this feature is implemented using JavaScript. React, Next.js, Angular, and Vue are most popular front-end web development framework. Once your fundamentals of the JavaScript is clear, you should choose one framework and learn it. Learning any of this framework can land you a job as an entry-level front-end developer. If your goal is to become a full-stack developer, then you should learn JavaScript. Full-stack developers are responsible for both front and back-end web development. But if your goal is to become a back-end developer, then there are a few other languages that you should learn apart from JavaScript. Python, C#, Java, and PHP are all heavily used in back-end development. FastAPI, Flask, and Django are three of the most popular web development framework in Python. For Java, Spring Boot, and for PHP, Laravel are also very popular web development framework. And for C#, you should focus on learning .NET to become expert backend developer. Apart from this, you should also learn SQL to interact with databases. Database is used to store data that is collected and used on website. For example, in case of YouTube, user login, video title, video description are all types of data that is stored in database. So learning SQL is essential to query data from databases. Now let's talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning. Over the last few years, AI and ML has been hyped significantly with tools such as ChatGPT, Midjourney, and Sora. Everyone wants to become part of new trend, and if your goal is to have a career in AI and ML, then Python is the de facto language that you should learn. Data is a critical component of any AI or ML system, and frameworks such as NumPy, Pandas, and Spark are very popular for processing large amount of data. After cleaning and processing data, AI professionals can implement complex machine learning models that can perform complicated tasks such as generating text or video. For machine learning, libraries such as scikit-learn, SciPy, and StatsModel are heavily used. Those libraries can help implement ML algorithms such as linear regression, time series model, clustering, and classification, to name few. For deep learning, TensorFlow and PyTorch are commonly used libraries. Tasks such as generating text or classifying images can be performed using models that are written using these libraries. Next up, we have DevOps. DevOps enables faster software development process that is secure, efficient, and scalable. It involves programming and scripting that will help software engineers release new features faster using automated deployment process. DevOps engineers are also responsible for ensuring that softwares and websites can scale to accommodate large user base. Go and Python are two most commonly used languages in DevOps. Python is mainly used for automating, scripting, or prototyping, and Go language is used for a tool called Kubernetes that allows for infrastructure orchestration. Kubernetes will allow managing large number of servers and databases seamlessly. Apart from that, learning Linux scripting or PowerShell scripting is also important. For AWS Cloud Stack, you should learn Linux scripting, and for Azure, you should learn PowerShell scripting. Tools such as Docker, Kubernetes, and Ansible are also critical for becoming expert DevOps engineer. Now let's explore mobile app development. iOS and Android account for 99.25% of mobile operating system market share. Therefore, most mobile applications will be developed for this platform. Native and cross-platform app development are two main approaches to developing mobile applications. Native development consists of developing mobile application for a specific operating system. Swift is mainly used to develop iOS applications, whereas Kotlin is used to develop applications for Android operating system. Historically, Java has been used to develop applications for Android, and Kotlin is just an improvement over Java. However, developing applications specific to operating system can be costly. As you can see, both operating system requires expertise in different programming languages and tools, and therefore companies would have to hire at least 2 engineers to develop an application that caters to both operating systems. Cross-platform application development aims to eliminate the challenge of developing mobile application using two different tech stacks. It provides a wrapper that would function in both operating systems, so that application code needs to be written only once and that can be utilized on both operating systems. For cross-platform application development, React Native and Dart are two most popular tools. Next, we have software development. Modern software engineering roles can be categorized in three categories: backend development, operating system development, and infrastructure development. Backend development consists of writing code for complex web applications for enterprise functionalities. For example, banking system that involves complex transaction processing flow, or writing software that will be used to fly aeroplanes on autopilot mode. Such softwares are written using C, C++, C#, or Java. These languages are object-oriented with strong type checking and compilers. Next domain is operating system development. Operating system development consists of writing code that powers your computer, mobile phones, and servers. Speed and efficient resource utilization are major requirements for any operating system. Most critical components of operating system will almost always be written using C. If you are interested in becoming OS engineer, then learning C and C++ will be critical to be successful in your role. Recently, Rust has also been gaining popularity for operating system development. For hardware-related roles, learning assembly language is very important because it will be used to write basic functionalities. For example, if you want to work at Apple, an iPhone's neural engine, then learning assembly language will be beneficial. And last component is infrastructure development. There are thousands of tools and libraries across different languages that help software engineers and web developers to be more productive at work. For example, React framework can be used to write web applications easily, or a library that will secure your website from DDoS attack by providing functionalities like rate limiting, or a framework like TensorFlow and PyTorch that enable machine learning engineers to train complex models. All this tooling are developed by software engineer for software engineers to be more productive. And this is called infrastructure and tooling development. Java, C#, and C++ are commonly used language for infrastructure development. So if you're planning to become a traditional software engineer, then it is important to learn languages that we mentioned above. Next, let's talk about game development and AR/VR application development. Majority of the games and AR/VR application use Unity, Unreal, or CryEngine for their graphics. Popular mobile game PUBG was developed using Unreal Engine that uses C++, and games like City Skyline, Pokemon Go, and Among Us were developed using Unity that mainly uses C#. Apart from this, there are hundreds of other graphic engines that power many different games and AR/VR applications. C++ and C# are the two languages that are supported by majority of these engines. So if you want to become a game developer, then learning C++ or C# is important. Apart from this, depending on the headset that powers AR/VR application, you might want to learn a specific language. For example, if you want to develop an application for Apple's Vision Pro, then learning Swift UI will be required. For Meta's Oculus, you will need to learn Java and Kotlin. Data engineer is next up on our list. With rise of AI, data engineering position listing has been increasing rapidly to meet the data requirement of AI systems. There are many popular tools, framework, and languages that can help store and process massive amount of data. For example, Apache Spark will help perform complex ETL operation on large data using distributed computing. Spark supports three main languages: Java, Python, and Scala. Similarly, with rise of e-commerce and IoT, new data is being generated on regular interval. This type of regular data generation is known as streaming data. Frameworks like Apache Beam and Apache Flink are commonly used to process streaming data. And both frameworks support Java, and all processed data will have to be stored somewhere. There are three different data storage solutions: relational database, NoSQL database, and data lakes. Knowing SQL is critical to interact with relational and NoSQL databases. For example, Cassandra, a NoSQL database, uses a SQL-like language for querying. In short, if you want to become a data engineer, then knowing Python, Java, and SQL is important. To conclude, you should focus on learning tools and programming languages based on your career aspirations. And if you are unsure of what you want to pursue, then that is fine as well. In that case, pick one programming language such as Python, C# or Java and try to become an expert programmer in that language. To learn a programming language, I'll highly recommend that you implement project or solve coding question on platforms like LeetCode using that language. Doing so will help you build your portfolio and prepare for tech interviews. Migrating from one programming language to other is not hard if you are already expert in one. Coding is like painting and programming languages are like paintbrushes. Painter plays a bigger role in creating a painting and paintbrushes are just tools. Similarly, an engineer is important for writing and implementing code, and programming languages are just tools. Therefore, focus on one programming language and become an expert in it. Rest should be easy. That's it for this video. Please like, share and subscribe. And as always, if you have any question, please drop a comment below and I'll try my best to answer it. Thank you.